If you've ever found yourself scrolling through social media, comparing yourself to everyone else, thinking you can't be successful, this is the show for you. Welcome, everybody, to Wake Up Well. So this morning we're talking about competition versus collaboration and how you can get out of that mindset of, oh, I'll never be successful, I'll never be good enough, I'll never be pretty enough, whatever it is that is stopping you from your great success and your great life. So my guest today is an amazing friend of mine. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's a host, she's a journalist, she's an actress, she's a philanthropist. I want to introduce you to my friend, Shawn Robinson. Good morning, Shawn Robinson.
Hello, my beautiful friend. How are you?
I'm so happy to see you because I don't get to see you as much as I used to when I was out in LA. So thank you for doing this.
I know.
Shawn and I worked together for, I don't know, maybe 15, 16 years at Access Hollywood. And I just want to give you a little bit of props at the beginning here, because when I first came to the bosses at Access Hollywood and I was wanting to be on camera and they gave me that opportunity, I went to you, and I remember we were sitting in the cafeteria together, the commissary at NBC, and I think I was shaking. I was very nervous because I was afraid of, like, what's Shawn going to say? Shawn Robinson, you were so kind, so welcoming, so excited for me. And not just like pretending to be excited, but authentically excited for this new chapter of my life. And you have supported me from the day I got on camera. That's not something you expect in Hollywood. In Hollywood, you expect people to tear each other down and not want others to succeed. So I'm forever grateful for that. And I just wanted to ask, where did that sense of self come from?
Laura, thank you so much. I love hearing that. So many people have come to me for advice throughout my career, and it just warms my heart to know that something I said helped you or somebody in their career. It comes from first my mom, Joanne. She's always one to lend a helping hand, and she, along with the other members of my family, my father, God rest his soul, my grandparents, always told me if I had a platform, use it to give back and to help other people. This is a business, the television business, that is oftentimes like crabs in a barrel. Everybody's trying to get to the top. And if somebody perceives you as a threat, maybe you are in their box, and they feel that their job is jeopardized if you move forward in your career.
Mhm.
I've never tried to feed into that, because I just think that what is meant for me, I will have. What is meant for Shawn, Shawn's going to get no matter what. And shining the light on somebody else in no way dims my own light. This business often teaches you the opposite in terms of supporting other people. It is a very competitive business, and I've encountered that many times in my career. And I've always tried to be the opposite. If there was another, young Black woman who was seeking advice from me, I didn't have any problem helping her, whereas maybe other people might have a problem helping her. Or if there was another woman, or if there was somebody who just wanted me to help guide them, I would, try my best to do that. Now, also, you have people who you were mentioning, that I was one of the few people um, at our show who greeted you with open arms when you wanted to transition from being a producer to being on air talent. Um, and I think that mentality, oftentimes, Laura, comes from people who were afraid to pursue their own dreams. They were in a job, maybe they wanted to do something else, and their fear was blocking them from moving forward. So the fact that somebody else is moving forward really kind of makes you realize that, oh, I should do this too, but I don't have what it takes, or I feel I don't have what it takes to move forward. So a lot of times it's that jealousy, it's the resentment. It is being in a place in your own life where when you look at other people excelling, you say, oh gosh, I wish I could do that. but I'm too afraid to move forward.
Yeah, you hit on so many points, and I think that people don't even realize that it is their own fear and insecurities that makes them, when they see somebody stepping out into a role that, you know, maybe they think doesn't belong to them. It goes back to how you feel about yourself on the inside when you have that insecurity. Oh, I'll never get there. And I think that's the biggest issue that we have in the world is, you're you. Like, stop comparing yourself to what somebody else has. If you want to be the next Beyonce, or if you want to be the next Katie Couric, whatever it is that you want to be, stop worrying about who they are and what they're doing, and just keep on your lane. And you said right in the beginning of this that I always knew that what was for me was for me. And that's really it. Like, when you have that mentality, and even the way you carry yourself, Shawn, the confidence that you have, that's going to propel you forward. That very notion of God's got me, whatever, you know, whatever it is that you believe, whatever faith that you have, that I have planted this seed, and now instead of watching it grow, I'm going to water it. And that's really what we should be doing. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And once again, you know, this is a business that kind of feeds on competition.
Yeah.
And many times, you know, people in charge will, you know, they will make their employees feel insecure by saying, oh, somebody else can do this job a little bit better.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got my eye on this person. That drives a lot of people in this business to not want to help other people.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
you know, there are a million situations where, you know, they feel like their employer may replace them because somebody else is prettier, younger, you know, cheaper.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
contract, you know,
Yeah.
pay, income,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it happens all of the time.
Yeah.
So, you know, are there people in this business who have succeeded because they were only about themselves and didn't help other people and they played that game? Absolutely. Are there people who have succeeded in this business because they are talented and they helped other folks, and they, you know, whenever anybody needed them, they would give them a piece of advice? Absolutely. You've got all different types of people who succeed in this business and many other businesses. So, you know what, it really depends on what's in your heart. You know, it is in my heart to help other people.
What do you do, Shawn, when somebody comes to you and is a naysayer and says to you, oh, you're not pretty, all those things that over the years people say, you're not prettiness, you're not tall enough, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too white, you're too black, you're too Asian, you're too whatever, anything. What do you do with those naysaying comments?
Right. And, you know, a lot of times that, listen, first of all, if you're in this business, and now with social media, if you put yourself out there, you've got to have a thick skin. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to have a thick skin, because think about the folks that sit up there and come to you and tell you you're not good enough. Think about those people. Think about how that is. I couldn't imagine having that negativity in me, saying to somebody, you're not good enough, you're a bad person, you're this, you're that. Now, you can address something that that person did, but to say to somebody, you don't have what it takes to succeed is, I would definitely consider the source. And it doesn't matter if that person is successful or not, but it is, I would just never tell anybody that. I would tell somebody that you should work on this, or, you know, you might have a better chance of getting a job if you did this, or if, you know, this is a skill, you need to, you know, sharpen your expertise in this area. So I would tell people that, but I wouldn't tell them that they don't have what it takes to succeed in this business. I would just never say that.
I think that's a great point, Shawn, because I think that a lot of people don't do that they don't find that tactical way to tell somebody that, you know what, maybe right now you're not showcasing what you have. Because that happened to me. I mean, you know, our boss at Access Hollywood said to me one time, you're not host material. And I let that poison me. And that's my own thing. And that's a point that I want to make is if somebody does come to you and says something like that, you get to decide if you want to believe that or not, because it comes back to what you believe about yourself and what Shawn said in the beginning about, you know, what is for you. I always saw myself hosting some type of show. I didn't know what it was, but the minute that somebody said I wasn't good enough, I let it sink me. And you and I hosted a seminar together where we had like 40 or 50 hosts that we were training. And that was one of the things I said is, please don't let somebody's, what they value you be what you value yourself. You get to decide your own value.
When somebody says to you, you don't have what it takes, don't believe that. They can say, I don't like it. Okay. But it doesn't mean that somebody else isn't going to like it, you know? Yeah. So I'm sorry that you had that experience. But it happens, it happens to everybody. It's happened to me when I was first starting my television career. We would send out these tapes, these 3/4 inch tapes, resume tapes. And I remember I sent one to a news director, and it was returned to me, and I could tell that they had only looked at a little bit of the tape because, they didn't bother rewinding it back then. And he wrote on the piece of paper, Black female, low energy, don't need.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I was like, oh, and that I remember it. I remember it to this day. The one thing that will help you stand out and will help you pursue your dreams is perseverance. If you just never give up, keep trying, keep at it. There are people, think about the number of people who just said, forget it. This is too hard. I got, somebody who said, I couldn't be a host, or I got a letter back that said, Black female, low energy, or the person that said I was too fat or too skinny or too ugly. I'm just going to give up. Think about all the people that did give up. Yeah. Just don't be one of them.
It always goes back to what is the lens that the other person is seeing through. Are they seeing through the lens of jealousy? Are they seeing through the lens of fear? Are they seeing through the lens of protecting you? Are they seeing through the lens of somebody else's lens who said to, maybe a news director heard, oh, we have to hire this certain person for that. So
are they seeing through the lens of bias?
Yes, absolutely.
Are they seeing through the lens of bias?
Yeah.
So yes, you have to understand what lens they are seeing you through. Absolutely. That's great.
So that you don't take it in on yourself, because that's the main point, Shawn, I think, is that we just want people to know, like, don't let anything deter you. Don't let those things deter you, because that will stop you from pursuing your dreams and pursuing what you want. But having said that, social media also is one of the reasons why I think we are having so much depression among our youth, mental illness problems, because it goes back to that, whatever you want to be, it doesn't just have to be an actress or a TV host or whatever it is, whether you want to be a successful lawyer, anything that you want, we sit there and we just compare ourselves to what everybody is doing. Well, that person went to Harvard and I didn't go to Harvard. I only went here. Or that person has 1 million followers and I only have 10,000 followers. That's our constant state of being, is looking at what others are doing. And I believe it's just so detrimental to society. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. Well, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, we've all heard that. Comparison is the thief of joy. And what social media does, especially Instagram, we see the lives of other people through filters.
Yes, absolutely.
I always say to my friends, never believe the picture. Okay. Never believe the picture, because the image that people put out on social media is not always reflective of what's going on behind the camera.
Yeah.
Right. And trust me, because I know some of the people posting the pictures. Okay. So I know that the image is different. Okay. I know that the image is different from what is happening behind the scenes. Focus on your own stuff. That's all you need to do. Focus on your own stuff. And it helps to get off of social media for a while. It helps to stop scrolling and seeing what every person is doing or the image that they want forth. And it helps to focus on how are you helping other people. I wrote a book called Exactly As I Am. And one of the chapters was called Giving Back. The surest way to take the attention off of yourself is to put it on somebody else less fortunate. Okay. So we can sit here and we could say, oh, I don't have this because I wasn't invited to this party. I don't have this boyfriend. I don't have that. I don't have this. You know, we have to start being more grateful for the things that we do have and for the platform that we've all been given to help other people. Okay.
Yeah.
So how that relates to social media, you know, you're once again, you're up there scrolling, you're comparing your life to other people's lives. And what you're saying, what the mind is telling you is that I'm supposed to have that because that person has that. That's what the mind is telling you as you're scrolling social media and you're looking at all the parties. I'm supposed to have that. Gratitude, writing in that gratitude every day shows you all the things that you do have and shows you all of the people who do love you and shows you all of the, but also it refocuses your attention on what are, you know, who are the people who are even less fortunate than I am, and how do I help them? How do I turn the light onto them?
Yeah, because at
I
the end
hope
of the
that
day,
answers the question.
no, it totally does. And you know what?
Okay.
We are all here to serve,
Yes.
and it totally answers that question. And so it's so important to remember that when you're going about your days, to, as you said, have gratitude for what you already have. The universal law says that that which is likened to itself is drawn. So when you
Yes.
dwell upon what you don't have, then you're going to create more of what you don't have.
Yes.
I mean, that's the law of the universe. So what you
Yes.
want to do is dwell upon what you do have, all the blessings that you do have.
Right.
And what's interesting that I've been learning recently, because I've been writing another book, is that even when you speak words that don't feel right to you, if you continue to speak those words, you can then begin to create that. So let's say maybe you live in a small studio apartment right now, and it's not the greatest place, but if you tell people, oh, I live in a small studio, it's so ugly, it's so this, you're already putting that energy out. So if you could simply state every day when you wake up, I live in this lovely studio and I appreciate that I have a home to live in. And even if it doesn't feel right at the time, the more that you say that, then eventually the more that you actually will begin to appreciate what you do have. So then what will happen inevitably in universal law is you will draw into you things that are good, and you'll draw bigger, better things.
Yeah. And you know, Laura, I flew to South Africa to cover the opening of the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. They were so incredible. And we took a tour of some of the shanty towns. We didn't go inside, but we were driving by some of the shanty towns where many of the girls came from. I mean, you know, if you've ever seen these dwellings, I mean, they're like basically either cardboard, homes made out of cardboard, or basically tin shacks. And some of the most of them don't have clean drinking water, or they share bathrooms with some, you know, 30 families, or even if they even have a bathroom, some of them don't even have running water. And these girls came from this area, and they were just they valued education so much that they, you know, they once they moved from their homes and they moved onto campus, they were, I mean, they were just brilliant and thriving. And I remember after I left, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to complain about anything else. Anything else. I come back to America, you know, I've got all these, you know, a house, a car, and clothes, and all this, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not going to complain about anything else. And then we get right back into complaining about stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Right back into complaining.
Yeah.
You know, I can look at somebody's house on Instagram and go, oh my God, that's amazing. And then I can drive down here on Van Nuys Boulevard and see people sleeping on the street.
Yeah.
And when you compare yourself to other people, it will never be good enough because there will always be somebody who has more, always be somebody. And so it's
Absolutely.
something that, you're trying to achieve something that has no ceiling. It
Yep.
doesn't have a ceiling.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
So,
I think it's human nature though, because as you said, like when you went to South Africa and you saw that and you come home and you said, "Oh, I'm going to be grateful for everything I have." But then life happens and you get back into that
right.
cycle. It's the same thing with my brother. You know, my brother passed away from cancer. I remember
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, I am going to appreciate every single day and I'm going to make every day count. And when you have those profound losses, you know, you lost your dad and I
Yeah.
lost my dad as well. You have those profound losses. You get those moments of gratitude, like I'm so grateful I'm
Yes.
still here and I'm grateful for everything I have. But then life happens
Yes.
and things get thrown at you and you go right back into the anger mode, the comparison mode, the stress mode.
Right.
And so it truly is a daily, if not instantly, process of having that gratitude and going
Yes.
back to that and remembering those moments so that you get that, because life is not like that. You don't just have something profound happen to you and then it changes you at the core instantaneously. It just
Right.
doesn't. You have to use those moments as often as you can,
Yeah.
so that you have these aha moments in your life where those are the things that will change you gradually.
Absolutely. And it's like cleaning your house. You can clean your house spick
Mm-hmm.
and span
Yep.
on Tuesday. By Thursday,
Yes.
it's, a mess again. Okay.
Yep, that's a
So
great
what you have
metaphor.
to do is you have to clean it up again. And
Yep.
so when we're talking about our minds and what our
Yep.
minds are telling us we need and are grateful for and all that, we've got to do that cleaning of our minds on a regular basis, because if we don't, we fall right back into the same pattern, and we're sitting here wondering, why am I, why do I feel so bad? Why am I not, why don't I have this? Because we didn't do that cleaning on a regular basis that
Yep.
we do with the rest of our lives. Okay. You wash
Yep.
your car, okay, on
Yep.
Saturday. And then by next Saturday, got to get it washed again. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's the same thing with our minds. We don't think about cleaning our minds, having a regular program, a regular schedule of cleaning our minds.
Right, because then the clutter just gets cluttered up. It's the
Yeah.
exact same thing. That's such a brilliant analogy. It's the same thing. If you just don't clean your apartment for weeks and weeks and weeks, it's going to get all cluttery and gross
Yeah.
and disgusting, and it's going to attract bugs and vermin,
Right.
right?
Right.
Same thing with your mind. If you don't clean your mind consistently, daily, you're going to attract all of those
Right.
same types of things. So I love
Right.
that analogy. Lastly, let's talk about your foundation, because
Yes.
you not only walk the walk, but you talk the talk, and you are all about inspiring and empowering women, and as I am as well. And so you started the Shawn Foundation for Girls. So tell me a little bit about that and what it does.
I've always been in the girls empowerment space for many years. I wrote a book on girls and self-esteem in 2009. I've sat on the board of Girls Inc. I currently sit on the advisory board of Girl Up under the United Nations Foundation. And so, empowering our young girls and women has always been a platform of mine. I started the Shawn Foundation for Girls, and we have 5 different divisions. And those 5 divisions are represented by the acronym of my name, SHAUN. So S is for STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. H is for health, A is arts, U is unity, and N is for neighborhood. So if there's a nonprofit that is doing work in one of those 5 key areas, we would possibly be a resource for them. So what we do is we find those incredible nonprofits around the country, and we support them with a grant. And we've had some amazing partnerships with small and medium-sized nonprofits that are doing incredible work with our girls. You can see firsthand how they are helping the young girls, girls and young women that they assist. So that's what we do. We raise money. We're a hybrid, so we raise money to give money away. And it has been this is my passion. This is something that I just absolutely love doing. And I hope to find, like I said, more nonprofits to help, because there's so many that are doing such great work.
And what it can do, even just a little bit of money, what it can do, just a little bit of money to change the trajectory of
Right.
somebody's life is unbelievable
It
and
is.
so important. And those people who I watch, graduate from college, who have gotten grants from foundations like yours, it's just what they then go out and do in the world is incredible as well. So not
Yes.
only are you empowering our youth to go out and go to college, get that education, whatever it is, get that career that they want. But then they go out and take that because of the circumstances that they've been through, and they go out and change the world. So,
Right.
with all of that, we're trying to change our world, and we need our world to change right now. We really
Right.
do.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Shawn, for being my guest. This has been awesome. It's been so good to spend time with you. So great to see you, for this amount of time. I think this is the longest we've gotten to chat in a long time.
I know. I can't wait to see you in person again.
Yes. Yeah.
Hopefully either you will be here in LA or I'll be visiting Florida. But right now I'll give you a virtual hug.
Okay, you too. Virtual hug. You.
Yeah.
And thank you everybody for watching Wake Up Well, and we will see you next week.